Hi everyone! Today we're going to learn how to do an acrylic pour painting. Now acrylic pour paintings are the process where you thin down acrylic paint using different kinds of mediums, and in this video I'll be showing you how to thin down paint with glue and water and Dawn dish soap and water. So some of the materials you may need would be craft sticks to stir your paint, or you can use plastic cutlery, cups to put your paint in, acrylic paint. It can be any type of color, any color combination. I just chose these 4 colors that you're seeing here. Like I said, you can choose any color that you may feel that you want. You also need to have a bottle of water, Elmer's glue, a canvas to put your paint on. This is an 8x8 canvas. You also need to have somewhere to put or collect the paint. So I have a storage container. You can use paper towels, a plastic drop cloth, anything that you can find. So to mix the colors, you're going to need 1 cup for each color. So we have 4 cups here for each color. And when you start out, you're going to put the paint in the cups, and you're only going to put as much paint as you think you'll need. Since we're doing like a smaller canvas, we do not need that much paint. So you're going to fill about maybe 1/4 to 1/5 of the cup with paint. And then you're going to put equal parts water and equal part glue in there. There isn't a specific measurement that you can use. I usually just fill the top of the paint with a thin layer of glue and then a thin layer of water, and I start mixing from there. Once you start mixing, you want the consistency to be the same consistency of maybe a dish detergent or liquid washing machine detergent. With this is very forgiving, so if you make the consistency too thin, you can always add more paint. But the consistency you really want to look for is when you take your stirring proponent out, you want the paint to soak right back into the paint. You don't want to lay on the top. There will be an example of this. So here I'm going to be adding more glue because it's not thin enough, and then I'll be adding a little bit more water to make it thin. Once the desired consistency is achieved in your colors, you want to do this step each time for each color that you have. And the next thing we're going to do is we are going to learn how to put it into 1 cup and then transferring it onto our canvas. Now that we've mixed all of our colors together, we are going to now transfer it into one singular cup. We are going to pull all our colors back into our workspace area. And at this time, you're going to figure out a organizational layer of colors that you want to do. So I am going to start with the white color, and I'm going to fill that about 1/5 of the way up in the cup. It's not going to be a lot. From these colors, we're going to be probably making 2 layers, and this is how much you probably want to fill with the white, since the white is like the base color in this. And then we're going to go with our silver color. We're going to lay that on top of the white. And you basically want to cover the color, so we're basically covering the gray with the white, and you're going to cover the pink on top of the gray. And then you're going to do the same thing for the blue color. In this method, each color is going to lay on top of each other. For the next method, they're actually going to soak into each other because of the different thinning medium. So now that we have our first layer of our 4 colors, we're going to do the same thing again. And we're going to make a second layer starting with the white, the gray, the dark pink, and the light blue. Now that we have our cup with our colors in it, we're going to transfer all of this onto the canvas. So when you have your canvas, you want it to sit up high, so you might want to put another plastic cup underneath it to make it sit so the paint can easily pour off the sides. And then you want to use your collecting method. So I'm using the plastic container to collect all the paint. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a tree pour method, which is a bunch of rings, and you're going to go over the center of your canvas and you're just going to start pouring. And when you pour, you're going to start seeing these lines of different colors, and it's going to mimic the tree rings that you see on the inside of trees. And so once you pour all of your paint onto the canvas, you are going to take your canvas and you are going to move it around so you fill the canvas with the paint and any sort of design that you feel that you like. The good thing about acrylic paint pouring is that it's very abstract and you really can't mess up because it can just be an abstract painting. It's kind of all to your discretion and what you want to see in your painting. But you really want to fill the corners and the sides with your paint, so you're going to be tilting your canvas in every direction and angle that you can to fill your sides and your angles. And once you finish that, you're just going to let it sit and dry. A technique that you can use is you can take paint from the bottom that collected and you can kind of paint the sides with your fingertips if it doesn't reach the corners as well as it should. But yeah, after you're done with this, you're going to just lay it back on the cup or whatever you're holding your canvas up with, and you're going to let it completely dry. It usually takes about 24 to 48 hours depending on how big your canvas is or how small your canvas is. From this angle, we can really see the emphasis of the tree rings. You can see the individual lines and how each color is represented very well. This is basically what you're looking for when you make a tree ring pour technique. So we're just going to wait at least 24 hours to let it dry. For this next example, we're going to use actually Dawn dish detergent instead of glue. We're going to use Dawn dish detergent and water as our thinning mechanism. So we're basically going to be using the same colors, and I'm going to be using the same cups as last time, but I will just be substituting the glue for Dawn dish soap. Now, to mix with the Dawn dish soap, it's very similar to the glue. You will just need less dish detergent because the dish detergent is already the consistency that you want in your paint. So we're just going to add a little bit more paint to the already pre-mixed paint that we have. And we're going to add Dawn dish soap. So we're going to add a very thin layer to the top of our paint. And then we're going to add the same amount of water. So as much Dawn dish soap that you add the same amount of water. And this is going to give you a very quick, thin consistency. So it will not take as long to mix your paints. Because Dawn dish soap is reacting with water, it's going to become very bubbly. This process is very easy compared. Just like with the glue, if your consistency is too thin, you can always add more paint. This process is very forgiving. And like I said, you'll get to your thinner consistency very quickly. But once you do it to one color, you're going to do it to the rest of your colors. And after we mix all of our colors back up, we're going to learn how to do a different pouring process. Once all of our colors are mixed, we are going to pour it into a singular cup, just like with the last process, except this is going to look a little bit different. So I've learned that Dish Dawn soap, or just any dish soap, has made the paint so thin that the paints kind of soak into each other. So as we see, I just poured the white, and now I'm pouring the silver, and it's kind of just going right into the white. And that's going to do the same thing for every single color, and this is okay. Like, do not get discouraged if you see this, because if you use the soap option, it will do this because it is so thin, and it also gives a really, really cool effect when we pour. Just like with the other method, we are going to do 2 layers of our 4 colors. It's going to fill up about to the top of the cup, and once we fill to the top, we're going to be doing a flip cup method. Once we have our 2 layers in our paint pouring cup, we're going to be doing the flip cup method, where you're going to take your canvas and you're going to flip it over, so where you can see the backing, and then you are going to put your pouring cup onto the front of the canvas. While holding the back of the canvas and the cup, you are going to flip over your canvas, and you're going to make sure you have good pressure on both sides so you don't lose any paint in the process. You're going to put your cup back underneath your canvas, and you are going to tap the bottom a couple times of the cup, and you are going to then lift the cup off of the canvas. And since the paint is so thin because of the dish detergent, it's going to be running off the canvas extremely fast, so this is a very less time consuming pouring process. And just like with the other one, you're going to fill each corner, each edge, and you are going to let it dry for at least 24 to 48 hours. This acrylic pouring process is a very easy way to add wall art to any space. This process does not need any other special materials than the ones mentioned in this video. Remember that the paint is very forgiving, so if your paint mixture is too thin, you can add more paint. If your mixture is too thick, you can add more thinning mixture, which would be either the dish soap and water method or the glue and the water method. Thanks for watching.